Hello and welcome to the promotional video for A-Level Philosophy at the Hempstead School. As you can see from the boys at the bottom, this is a subject that spans over 2,000 years of thought and logic that will set you up nicely for further education in many ways, as well as being incredibly interesting and thought-provoking. We study the AQA specification. Each section of the course is equally weighted and all is currently assessed through exams at the end of Year 13. Each exam is 3 hours long and each paper is worth 100 marks, or 50 marks per topic. This can sound daunting at first, but you are not necessarily expected to write for the entire time. You may spend up to a third of that time thinking, planning and editing. You are not necessarily expected to write in continuous prose either. You can bullet point and write flowcharts, and that may lead to more marks as precision is valued over quantity. Epistemology is the study of knowledge. In this topic, you will cover the fundamentals of what can be considered knowledge and how we gain it. For example, do we gain knowledge through perception? If so, how can we trust our senses when we know that we can fall victim to hallucinations, illusions, and realistic dreams? Are we born with knowledge? If so, how can we prove it? How did that knowledge get there? Essentially, we are studying the battle between empiricism, that is, knowledge gained through sense experience, and rationalism, knowledge gained through thinking. The practical applications of this are far-reaching and increasingly more necessary. Can we believe everything we see? Can we believe everything we read? Can we know anything at all with certainty? In the computer age, we are bombarded with information that is presented as knowledge, but is it really? This part of the course really encourages students to question and critically analyse the way in which information is presented and processed to and by us, a skill that all universities and employers appreciate and encourage. Moral philosophy, otherwise known as ethics, is probably the branch of philosophy that most people are familiar with. This is the study of how people know what is right and what is wrong. Should we make ethical decisions based on a sense of duty as proposed by Kant, the man in the corner, or should we make ethical decisions based on getting the greatest outcome for the greatest number? Students will then apply these theories to real-life situations under the themes of eating meat, simulated killing, and stealing. Are these actions ever right based on these systems of normative ethics? Metaethics focuses on what the concepts of good, evil, right, and wrong even mean. Ethics is by far the most far-reaching branch of philosophy and is necessary in absolutely every profession out there. For those who may go on to study philosophy at university, they may study topics such as business and medical ethics, which are particularly applicable today in light of the COVID-19 situation. Should we value the economy over the lives of the vulnerable? Metaphysics of God, or what may also be known as philosophy of God or religion, this topic focuses on the arguments for and against the existence of God. Who has the burden of proof, and whether religious language leads to a belief in God? This centres around a Judeo-Christian idea of God, but the central ideas can be applied to any monotheistic religion. The central figures that are discussed in this topic are St. Thomas Aquinas, St. Augustine of Hippo, Swinburne and Anselm. The students will look at cognitivism versus non-cognitivism when discussing God, with cognitivists stating that religious language exposes truths about the world, with the non-cognitivists stating that religious language is merely a form of expressing an attitude or a feeling. The final topic is metaphysics of the mind. This discusses the mind-body problem. That is to say, is the mind or soul separate and distinct from the body? How can we set out to prove it either way? We discuss what it is to have a mind and whether we can reduce what we call the human experience to physical processes. The implications of the latter being that you could essentially program a robot to have exactly the same neurological pathways and connections as yourself and live forever. For those scientists among you, this is a very interesting topic as it spans across into neuroscience and what scientific developments have meant for the study of philosophy and how the two can intertwine. The AQA specification requires students to study set texts from key figures from philosophy. As a result, we have set the entry requirements at grade 5s in religious studies and/or English literature or language. Students will be required to complete a significant amount of reading, but this is no different to any written A-level subject, and certainly will be required of every student that wishes to go into further education and even some apprenticeships. Students will not be required to buy every set text, but there is a necessary textbook that students will need to purchase for each year. Once your options have been chosen, we can facilitate you purchasing books from ex-students if you wish, or they're available from Amazon and the publishers. For each section, there will be 5 questions, so you do not have to learn different techniques or styles of question for each topic. As mentioned at the beginning of the film, students will be required to complete 2 3-hour exams at the end of Year 13. Accuracy and precision are valued above everything, and you do not necessarily have to write in continuous prose for the 3, 5, and 12-mark questions. Flowcharts and bullet points can be sufficient to gain the marks. Waffle is penalised. I guess the exam board are trying to move away from the styles of traditional Western philosophy. And finally, our enrichment programme. Global pandemics permitting, we hope to run a trip to Italy with a particular focus for the philosophy students on numinous experience and collective worship as proof of God's existence. We have also in the past attended seminars that have included some of the country's leading philosophical scholars, such as Richard Dawkins, pictured here, and Richard Swinburne. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, some of these opportunities have been made more accessible as many scholars are offering video conferencing and offering services to all schools, in some cases even free of charge. And we will certainly be hoping to take advantage of that over the coming years. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this presentation informative and that it will help you make your final options of philosophy. If you have any further questions or queries, current students at the school should ask me, Mrs. Littlejohn, or Miss Dayton for further information. If you are an external candidate, please email the school and they will forward your query to us. Good luck with your hopefully upcoming exams, and we look forward to seeing you in September. Goodbye for now.